with part 2 of this memory book I'm making. Okay, now found in my stash this lovely linen textured. It's a generic brand, but I thought that it'd be perfect for covering the inside, front and back covers. So I cut them to size. I just thought there was 2 there, but there isn't. And the size I cut them to is, and I've lost my ruler. Oops, here it is, hiding. I cut them to 8 inches by 6 1/8. We're going to put you so you don't run away. Just there. Okay, actually, what I've done, I started my pages, and what I've done is just inked them a little with the violet or lavender or lilac or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to do the same with this. It's just a little inking. Why does this look like it's got it looks like it's got what do you call it? Adhesive sheet on it. I forgot I'd put that on. Oops. Yeah, what am I going to do about that? What am I going to do about that? Let's see if it'll come off. Most of it will be covered. With a Christmas sheet, but let's just see if we can get not too much, otherwise we will rub the paper. That's okay. And where's the other one? Here it is. Same thing, I put some adhesive paper on the back. I just want it to be subtle. Coming to the end. I was going to stick this on just with tape and glue. I had forgotten that I'd put the adhesive sheet on it. It didn't really need the adhesive sheet because it's very thick cardstock. It is 216 GSM, which is very thick, and I didn't think it needed the whole sheet, but never mind, we've done it. Just had to empty my little bin. Okie dokie. Now my pages. I just get a little bit confused sometimes about what I'm doing. Yeah, I went ahead and did most of my pages. Except this one, so that I could show you. Okay. Sorry, oh look at the glare. Again, this is what my page looks like. It's got an opening there as well. Excuse me. So those measurements are, oh, I've lost it now. There we go. The front, that's the way it is. That's the way it goes. Is, oh, and I've used 200 GSM white cardstock. 6 1/8 or 6 1/6, no, 6 1/8 by 7 7/8, and that is not right. So 1/8. Okay, and the second piece is an inch wider, 7 1/8 by the same height, 7 7/8. So we grab our scoreboard, and with the 7 1/8 across the top of your scoreboard. Score it at 1/2 inch and just rotate it once and 1/2 inch. I do have just a tiny bit of overhang. You can see that there. So perhaps make your first width 6 1/16, which I had in the first place. Oh, Stella. So I am just going to take a 1/16 of an inch off this. I'm just going to just skim it. Just take a hair off. Just that little bit there. Use my scissors to finish it off. Grab some glue. I've got, excuse me, art glitter glue. It's my favourite. Oh, I'm just going to snip off, look, just a tiny wedge there. It's hardly worth mentioning really, but just a tiny wedge from the outside of that scored line. Then we're going to put glue on one side. Match it up, match it up. Here we go. Give that a bit of a burnish. And then we go to the other side. Oh, I can tell I'm getting a blockage. When it comes out very fine, we're going to get a blockage. Thank you. It fixed itself. Okay, so that's how we do our page. And that's what we've got. Okay. Now I want to go to one of the pages that I have already done. It's still open. Aren't these papers gorgeous? Okay. That's the back of that one. Or the front, whichever, doesn't matter. So I have cut my papers to 7.5 long by 5 and is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 sixteenths. Let's check my 5 and 11 sixteenths. You can go 5 3/4 if you want. You don't have to be as precise as me. And then I use the adhesive sheets on the back of these, because if I show you these, I showed you in last video, they're quite flimsy. These papers are quite flimsy. Oh God. Let's see if I can just do something different here. That's just a little bit better. Not much. Yeah, I think they're about 100 GSM maybe, if that. So I feel that you need the extra thickness of the sheet rather than going with, you know, tape or just glue. So I use the sheets. And I put one on either side. So that's one page. And when you're cutting your pages, you will find that you have a lot of offcuts. I had a lot of offcuts, which we are going to use for extra pages and little booklets, etc. So don't worry about wastage because there's not much. So there's the second page. Sorry, I keep going a bit further up. Let's just see if I can move my camera, well, up a bit. How about that? That's better. That's much better. Let's see if the light helps. Does that help? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so page number 2. And what I did was I took one of the offcuts, and it just happened to be that size, so I just scored it at 1/2 inch, took a wedge out of each side of that flap, and this is going to go in here. I'll center it in the middle, and it's going to go in there. I may or may not make a nice edge on there. It just depends. So anywho, use those scraps. Okay, I'm just trying to disseminate all this shit that I'm doing. Okay, let's just start on a fresh one. So I've got 2, got that one there and this one over here. So I'm just going to put them together like this. Now in my measuring, I worked out that I needed to cut 3/8 of an inch off here and 3/8 of an inch off here, and then 1/8 of an inch from either the bottom or the top. But these measure, coming out the packet, they measure 8 1/4, and I need 7, and what did I say I needed? Oh, it's a dull Saturday. Excuse my my vagueness. I need 7.5. So if you go from 7.5 to 8.25, you've got 6/8 in there. So divide that in half, and you've got 3/8 either side. That's how I worked it out, and it's worked for me. So pop these both together, get it onto the 3/8. The paper is thin enough that it cuts quite nicely. Turn it around and 3/8 again. Well, I've got a dull blade. That's my excuse. Trim that quite well. And we'll just take off 1/8 of an inch across the bottom. And just to be sure that we've got the size I want, beautiful. Just to remind you of what is from Team. We're going to use that whole packet, so 20 in a pack. I just put this with just like a millimetre over the edge, so that it goes completely inside this, because it is pretty hard to trim it if you've got overhang, you know. So then what I do is I cut inside that paper, that pencil line, inside it. Always keep these offcuts, no matter how small. Got some untidiness there, let's just trim that off. Slowly peel the backing off. And give it a real good burnish to make sure that sticks. Not that I've had any problems with it at all. I'm just going to make sure I've got no overhangs, and that is beautiful. That's my page. doing this that you don't crease your paper. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little arrow there. That's where that one's going to go. Try and keep your orientation and you won't forget. I have coated the back of decorative papers with strips and scraps of these, and they work perfectly. I've got the sticky side down, as you can probably see. I'm holding the bottom up while I place the top. Oops. And I'm just double checking. Yep. Okay, I've got 3 pages totally finished. I'll just take 2 of them and I'm going to pop that in there. But let's cover this first. Okay, so these are ones that I haven't used. These are ones that are multiples of the ones I have used, so I can use these over again. I will just make sure that they're not near their copy. So I think we want them the same. No, we don't want them the same size. I've got a nice 1/4 inch, not quite 1/4 inch, let's say 1 to 3/16. Yeah, 3/16 around. Three 3/16 there. 2 3/16 there. So what I want is measurement to be 7 3/8. 7 3/8. Let's do the same here. 3/16. 1 2 3/16. And here we've got 5 3/16. Okay, let's risk it and cut. And we need 2 for the back, so I haven't used that one yet. That is really, really pretty. Put them back to back. Okay, 7 3/8. The other one was easier to measure. This is 8 1/4 and 7 3/8 gives us 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. And what's the half of that? Half of 2 4 6 7 2 4 6 7. So 7 7/16. 7 7/16. So I need to take out 7/16 on either side. Is that right? 7/16. I'll do one at a time, just in case. So that is 2 4 6. 2 4 6 8. I think that's it. I think that's it. And we'll try this. Perfect. You did it perfect, Stella. Now we want to take off from the other side. We've got 5 3/16, and we want it to be 5 3/16. I'm going to take it from the bottom. So 5 1 2 3. Pretty sure that's it. Double check. 1 2 3. That is quite a substantial piece. I'm going to keep that for reference. I'm happy. Oh shoot, I forgot what I meant. Shoot, I was taking 7/16 off either side, wasn't I? Yeah. 7. Take off 7/16 and what was it I had to take off there? I had to cut at 5 and 3/16, I think, but I'll double check that. Keep that one for reference. Ooh. Uh-huh. Sometimes it just doesn't want to separate. You have to use a tool. It's coming. That's away. Sometimes I'll put some glue across, and sometimes I don't. Just a little bit of roughness over there. Aha, we've got some overhang. I mean, it's just such a tiny thread, but that will affect the overall album, because you always have that little sticky strip. putting these on the outside of the page, not where their hinge is. So that's where that hinge is. Inside. Oh, I haven't cut that one yet. Didn't I cut two? Obviously not. Do I need that? No. 7/16 is just in there. Of course, if these papers had been just one image and not two, I would have just cut one side. But ooh, that looks a bit short. What have you done, Stella? That is too short. Oh my word. How did you do that? What's happening? That one must have been already cut. Of course it was. It was already cut and I stuffed it up. Let's take some from the bottom. We want 5 3/16. Yep. So it goes that way, and when it opens, it will be that way. Not all pages are going to have the same thing on it. Okay, I've got some scraps here. I'm going to use them. I'll just take a smidge off this. I can see you. There you go. I do have some overhang there. Honestly, it's like a hangnail pest. And we'll use this big one. It's the right size. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put it on the edge. And then I'm just going to pop some glue down there. Okay, that's the way it's going to go. So we will start here. Bit of glue down there, just a strip. Oh, you fell back. Just spreading that little bit of glue. Okay, let's decide on which page. We might go with that page. So firstly I'm going to put some glue on the inside here. Just slide it in, center as best you can, and there we go. And I'm going to keep that open for now because that helps when putting the pages in place. Okay, so that's one complete page. Let's pop that out of the way. Okay, we're going to do this page. So I'm just going to transfer these notes onto just a little bit of sticky or my notepad. 7 3/8 by 5 3/16, 7/16. Okay, and nobody would understand my writing but me. Okay, so we're going to do this one. And I'm not going to put anything fancy on it after all. Although I could have rounded the corners, but I didn't do it on that one, so I'm not going to do it on this one. It would just look awkward. Look totally not right. Okay, let's just grab two. I want to make sure I don't have anything similar. So 7/16. Oh boy, we do need a sharper blade. Dealing with Kaisercraft, they are pretty good. They're pretty good people. You know, it's better if I do it one at a time when you haven't got a sharp blade. Better. And it comes off this side. And 5 and 1, 2, 3/16 from. Look, I'm going to go to the top on this one, I think. I just grab my pencil and just 1, 2, 3, so I can see it better. We'll go to the top on this one too. More scraps. Take 1/8 of an inch off this one. Just a hair, I mean an absolute split hair. Let's see if I've got more. I do, let's use them all up. Some of these are different shades, different company, but still the same product. I sourced these type of adhesive sheets in Australian craft shops. I certainly wasn't going to pay between $10 and $15 for 5 sheets. That's ludicrous. Okay, we want a thin one. So we got a thin one? No. Just cut this one in half. Try not to overlap these, and I've said this before. Try not not to overlap them because they don't like sharing, and it is difficult to peel them apart once they're stuck. Come on. There's that little bit in there, I can pop some glue in. Going that way. Actually, that line is so fine I don't even think it needs glue. Come on, play nicely. This way. Make sure we've got our orientation. And this orientation goes this way. Yeah, put it on there, silly moon. Put it on here. I really should have a dustbin next to my chair for all these bits, because there's quite a lot scrap. Oh, nice big piece for there. Actually, no, we'll use a smaller piece. Goes. Yep, so we'll start from this side. And we'll pop a wee bit of glue just in here. If it will allow me. sure I've got no double. Look what I've done. Just look what I've done. One's upside down. And I'm trying so hard not to do it like that. And then I go and do it like that. So, little Sandra. We'll trim this one down again. Now we just have to put it on top. So I'm going to go over just a fraction. And that's 7/16, so I'm going to go over a 32nd of an inch. Just, yeah, you moved it. 7/32 of an inch. And then we're going to take 1, 2. Unbelievable. Well, it's quite believable, really. It is quite believable that I make mistakes like that. Okay. What the? This is the size for the offcut, not for the page. Dear me. Dear me. I got another one of them. Let me see. I've got another one of them. Sure I have. Unbelievable. And I am concentrating, believe it or not. All that constipating. Let's see what we've got over here. I'm going to use that one instead. Make sure I don't have a double up there. Right. So, three-eighths of an inch, and that looks to me like 3/8 of an inch. And if I've made another mistake, I'm going to throw it in a bin. Not really. But I am going to throw a tantrum. I've been known to occasionally throw a tanty. I'm going to keep the width. I'm going to keep the width of that, yeah. Shoot. Let's see if I can take that off. See what happens if I try. Oh. Hey, that works. No, it doesn't. To a degree, no, it doesn't. Still wish I hadn't started this. Taking this off and then it comes off quite nice. It's like peeling wallpaper. I should have left it. Okay, lesson number 3. Don't do that. I'm going to use a whole sheet. A whole sheet of this. Not that it matters. I must just tell you that for sure. It doesn't matter whether I use a whole sheet or scraps, as long as every piece of it is covered. Get rid of some scraps so I can see where I'm at. Oh, I've got some overhang, I can see it already. It wants to stick to the table. Where are you? Oof, quite a bit. And I don't put this through the cutter. It'll just make my blade sticky. So scissors it is. And I do have a tiny sliver of hair there. Did it again. So this here is that way. It's not square enough for me. That looks okay. No, it's not, Stella. That's better. this one is going in here to go there. So let's put some glue here. And you know what I've forgotten to do? Have a guess. I have forgotten to ink the edges. So we've got some inked and some not. I don't know what to do about that. Let's see. Was that inked? Yeah, that one was inked. That one wasn't. Oh, maybe it won't matter. Okay. Now make sure they are all on the same level. Yes. That's 2 pages. What are you? Page. Another page. Okay. What's that? That's a page. So let's do another one of those. Still got some thick. Depends on how you cut it. When you originally cut your paper pages to give you some nice wide, so I would put the smaller cut across the top and then the bigger cut on the bottom. That makes sense. Okay, peppers. Oh boy, that really was short, wasn't it? What are you? You do. And we've got another one of these. So I just need to cut that. I have got quite a hefty border around. I think it's 3/16. Easy way to cut would be to put this in here, center it, and draw around it. Oops. Only if you're confident. I'm fairly confident. I'm fairly confident that I can screw up anything. Well, if you can make mistakes and own your mistakes, you're good to go. I'll make them so you don't have to. good. Okay, let's use some scraps. Ooh, come on. That's the way. And pay to just draw a line there, so that when you go to put the next one in, you can see exactly where the other one ends. Again to the edge. It's such a small line there. We can probably get away with a little bit of glue. Okay, so that's the right way. Squidge in there. So next one needs to go that way. I'll save all these little bits, the thin bits. I can't say enough about this. It's just brilliant. Oh, I'm going to have some overhang there. Yeah, so let's just trim a hair off before we go any further. It's much easier to do it before than after. Okay, it goes that way. Yes, indeed. I think once I've finished, I might give all the outside of the white, I might give them an inking. Okay, so that's 3 of them. Now I'm going to do something different. What is this? Oh, that's a page. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, this just needs to be cut. Sure what I'm doing there. I think this goes with this one. So what I'm going to do with this one is I've got 2 little pieces here with flaps, closure flaps, which I'm just going to, not closure flaps, fold overs. Let's just take that little wedge off, makes things easier. So the little fold overs, they're going to go one here and one here in the middle, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, okay. They are quite. So the width is 4 1/8 by 5 1/2. Sorry, 5 and between 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 16ths, or no, 5 1/2. And the scoring is only 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Now I am going to trim this to actually 5 1/2. This was a cut off from the big sheets, so I didn't alter the size, but we are going to do 5 1/2. Where's 5 1/2 in the scheme of things? Is it there? I think that's where it is. blunt as a bowling ball. Okay, 5.5. And trim that again, that little wedge. Here, because we're going to need it. So we have 4 1/8 by 5.5. Okay, what do we want to do first? No, we won't do that first. We are going to do our page, front of our page first. So let's trim this. And we are trimming 3/8 of an inch. Stand up for a bit more push. And 3/8 of an inch off this side. And take some off the top. What do we take off the top? Just that? No. We just take off an 1/8 of an inch, I think. There for a sec. I will cover this one, and we are going to use a whole sheet. Oh, got some overhang. feel it sticky. Right from here. Yeah, no, we're not putting this in straight away. What we're going to do is we're just going to measure this length, 5 and 2, 4, 6, 7/16, almost. I cut it to almost 5.5, but not quite. So, in the line that separates the two images, we are going to look for and measure 5 and 7/16. 2, 4, 6, 7. No, 5.5, which is very close to the edge. So let's start off with 5 and 7/16 to start with, and if need be, we can cut it wider. So just draw that line. 5 and 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, let's just grab our cutting board, our ruler. Now let's dig out our blade. It should be in there, but it isn't. Okay, if you can see what I'm doing here, you can see that line, that pencil line. I am going like a millimeter, which would be a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little less. Go a little less than a 1/16. And starting from the top of that pencil line, cut down with a sharp blade down to the bottom of the pencil line. Don't go any further than the bottom of the pencil line. Okay, you got that cut? The other side. Now be very gentle because you do have and you know what I always do? I always put a bit of masking tape, but this time I'm just going to use a little bit of this just across there. And across there. Okay, now we've got this side of the line, the same thing. The same thing. from the beginning of that pencil to the end of that pencil. And you can see my blade has just this is not my sharpest blade. Okay, that should give you that strip there. Now what you need to do is gently cut that strip away. And you will probably need to tidy it up a bit if you're like me and you're just, you know, using a non-sharp blade. See it there, that's it. Now I usually call this a little post box. That little post box. And we're going to post these inside it. So let's give it a shot first and see if we've got the right measurements. We just need to trim a little bit more off this side. Still needs a little bit of trimming. And be careful because you don't want to cut the top or the bottom. And if you have to, trim some more off here if it doesn't fit. Which I am going to do. I'm going to trim a bit more off one side. I'm just going to do it with my blade and my ruler. I'm just taking a 32nd of an inch. Perfect. Perfect fit. Not quite. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's that one. And then turn it around and pop this one in. You do want them to lay flat and abut each other, not to overlap. So if you find that that gap is not big enough, we are just going to trim it a little more. Just another little millimetre, a 32nd of an inch. And I'm using a blunt blade, for God's sake. Wow, another blunt blade, look what I've done. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But everything is fixable. I'm just going to fold this a little bit more that way, and then I'm going to straighten that up. And I've just cut the top. Of course I have. Blade somewhere, but I've got so much rubbish. There you are, you're hiding. So the first thing is make sure your blade is sharp. Okay, then we are cutting our little post box. This is much easier to do when you don't have such a narrow place at the top and bottom that you've got to keep, you know. I'm not keen on that. That's a bit messy, but I don't want to take too much from here. I don't want to take any from there. Oh, straightened up as best we can. Good. Righto. Let's pop that in. That's a nice fit. Got a little bit more at the top than the bottom, but that's okay. And then let's pop this one in the other side. Okay. That's that. You can see they are pretty flush, and you can't see the opening, and you won't see it once it's on the page. I do have a little bit more page at the top than I do at the bottom, but I'm not going to cry about that because I've had enough problems with this already. So as long as we are both together flat, whip it over. Now grab the glue and glue on that fold there, and try not to get it in here. Try not to get it in there. this side, to the right side of the score line. Come on, it's got a blockage. There we go. Ouch. Okay, now we're going to have a problem with our sticky paper. So what I'm going to do here is just cut the backing off. Ooh, that is very sticky. Very, very sticky. Cut the backing off. And this backing off. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Seriously? What happened there? Okay, that's the backing. That's the backing, that's the backing. And I think we're going to do this one again. I'll just see if I can fiddle. Fiddling is good. There is no other way around this. You've got to have the strength of that glue piece. Got to have the strength of that in there. Okay, let's take that up. And I am going to pop some glue in these places that are just not playing ball. No big deal. Okay, very carefully. Pop it down. Certainly could have been a bit neater, but it it has worked. It has worked out. And for this one I am going to round off some corners. Let's have a 7. So just make sure our orientation is right. So that is up. That is up. And that is up. And that is up. And that is up. Well, there's a bit of drama there, but we got it in the end. We got it in the end. So that page has got these two little booklet things, and we will put some paper on these. We will cover them with paper. Okay, I'm going to give oh, excuse me, I coughed my lungs out. I'm going to give this a rest for now, and I'll try and do some of the work off camera, but nothing important that you're going to miss. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed following this, mistakes and all, but doesn't that look great? And I think the next one we might try them from the outside in. Let's try them that way. But I really like that. Really do. I'll do another one like that, yeah. Okie dokie. Thanks for being with me today, and I hope you'll keep following and see how this little album comes out. Okay, keep well and stay safe. Bye for now.